You can tell a lot by a person or a group of people by the litter that they leave behind. What kind of supplies they have, and how well supplied are they. Well, look what we found here. We found some litter. An empty can of Vienna sausage, barbecue flavored. Now I can tell they're not starving because they didn't lick it clean. It also hasn't been out here in the woods long because the animals didn't get it. And I can also tell they don't have a dog. Now you got to get rid of all your litter. You got to bury it, hide it, carry it out in a tactical situation or a bug out situation. And when I say all your litter, I mean all your litter. What you got there, girl? What'd you find? It's fresh. And they've been eating sauerkraut. Today we're talking about litter discipline, whether in a tactical, a bug out, or a bug in SHTF situation. Stick around. Let's talk about litter discipline. What is litter discipline? It's one of the three main disciplines that you're going to want to employ when you're out there on the trail, or even when you're bugging in. We'll get into that later, but noise, light, and litter discipline. We're going to talk about noise and light discipline later on in some future videos. Make sure you subscribe. You're not going to want to miss those. But litter discipline is essentially how you go about your business without leaving any litter behind that will provide information to people that want to do you harm. The best thing you can do is any garbage you produce, take it with you. Do not leave it behind on the ground. And that goes for today and everyday normie society, as well as a post-apocalyptic world. Now, I know it seems silly because we've all thought about these post-apocalyptic situations, scenarios, what have you. And a lot of society's norms and rules and laws are going to go right out the window when SHTF happens. When it hits the fan, you're looking at anarchy and chaos, law and order, a world without rule of law, right? WROL. But what is today a minor infraction on that law, littering, something that'll get you a ticket, in a post-apocalyptic world, littering can be something that becomes fatal. Let me explain. Now imagine it's normie world, everything's fine, no apocalypse going on. You go out to the Walmarts and you buy yourself a 2,000-inch TV. It's got all the bells and whistles, newest technology, super expensive, whatever. You put the TV in the living room and you set the box out on the curb with the garbage. Now, everybody who drives by, good guys and bad guys alike, are going to see that box out on your curb, and they're going to know that inside your house, you got the newest, coolest TV that's ever been made, and all they got to do is get in the house and take it, and it's theirs. And they can sell it, play PlayStation, do whatever they want with it, right? So, you wouldn't do that, of course, because you think about this stuff. You're not going to buy a PlayStation 10 and leave the box out on the curb. You're too smart for that. So, in a post-apocalyptic world, why would you do the same thing? You know, you're heading down the trail, the bike path, the railroad tracks. You're bugging out, heading to Aunt Susie's house. Why would you leave your can of Chef Boyardee on the ground? To let everybody else know that that person there has got Chef Boyardee, and it's been a while since I've had some ravioli. Let's go get it from them. You wouldn't do that either, would you? I hope not. So, litter discipline. Take all your litter with you, especially in a post-apocalyptic world. Like I said, what's today a ticket could then be a fatal flaw that you make. Take all your litter with you, carry it out. Now, let's say you're not heading down the trail, right? You're not heading to Aunt Susie's house. You're not bugging out. You're bugging in. You're staying in your castle. You got all your preps. You're watching your neighbor's house. They're watching your house. Everything's good. I just said your neighbor's watching your house, didn't I? I just said you're bugging in. And remember that box for the TV that you didn't want to put out on the curb because you didn't want to advertise to every burglar out there you got the coolest, newest TV? If you're bugging in, you need to employ a level of litter discipline as well, don't you? Because if you're bugging in, and it's been a while, people are getting skinny, people are hungry, people are desperate, but here you are carrying out bags and piling up trash because the garbage men aren't coming. The trash is piling up, and your trash that's piling up is a lot taller of a pile than your neighbor's, right? And your trash has a bunch of Ready Wise and Patriot Food Supply, freeze-dried meal buckets and bags and cans of Spam and all the goodies that nobody else has, but you keep carrying out this stuff and piling it up in the yard or out on the curb or whatever you're doing with it. People are going to see that. And people are going to see, man, whoever's living in this house, there's a huge pile of trash. And he's not getting any skinnier. Let's go see what he's got. Let's take it. That's ours. You know, meanwhile, your neighbor, they're just bringing out a little bit of trash just to get it out of the house. But one person's trash is another person's treasure. One person's small pile of trash is another person's mountain of trash. So employing litter discipline, whether you're bugging out or bugging in, super important, super vital, definitely needs to be part of your plan. You should start thinking about these things. How are we going to get rid of trash? We can't just let it pile up in the house. Or can you? If I dig a pit out in my yard big enough for a month's worth of trash, well, all month long they're going to see what you're putting in that pit, you know. And digging a pit in the first place is definitely going to draw attention from the neighborhood and anyone passing by. So how do you get rid of the trash? That's where you're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to get very creative. You know, getting rid of trash might be one of those concepts that we leave behind in the pre-post-apocalyptic world. You know, maybe that trash isn't something we should be getting rid of. Maybe it's something we should be keeping. Everyone's situation is different. People who live in New York City are going to have a different plan than people who live out here in the Midwest or the South. Obviously, in New York City, you know, just because there's a pile of trash outside of a building isn't necessarily going to narrow down where inside that building the trash came from. In the suburbia or small towns or out in the country, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb if you've got a mountain of trash outside your home that's been growing daily since the day SHTF. So think about these things. Think about what you need to do with your trash. Your situation's probably different from mine, but I want to hear about your situation. Let me know in the comments what your plan is. Have you even thought about this before? Sometimes in the cities, you see on the news, the garbage men go on strike and the trash piles up. I mean, that's kind of what we're going to be looking at, because those men and women who come collect the garbage, they're going to be at home or bugging out or worrying about their own family. They probably won't be showing up to work in a doomsday situation. So the trash is going to pile up in those cities. It'll be easier for you to camouflage your garbage amongst all the other garbage without drawing too much attention. But out here in the boondocks, I could see a situation where you're going to make yourself stick out like a sore thumb if you produce any trash. So what's your plan? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You're watching the Aloe Drab Alliance. I appreciate it very much. I'll see you all down the trail somewhere. Until then, have a great day.